was adrenaline and dopamine my earliest addiction, or was it sugar? Because essentially they're the same thing, just in different forms, right? But I feel like we're definitely addicted to sugar.
Do you know when your sugar addiction, like when you associated the food, the sugar with feeling better, do you like have a moment of when it clicked?
Well,
it might be hard. You don't have to talk about it.
Let me make some more sounds into the microphone.
You can say yes or no. You don't have to give me the story.
That was such a funny moment. Yes, I do.
I saw it.
That's a good. Thank you for that. Yeah. Yes, I do. I have a memory of. I'll just share it. It doesn't matter. It's embarrassing, but I don't need to be embarrassed about something from when I was like 6. Like I was very young, and I looked at my dad's Playboys. It was, I think, one of the first times, or one of the first memories that I have of the first time that I looked at porn. And it was just a Playboy magazine from back in the day. As when I got done with the experience, right, I just remember feeling so sick. My stomach hurt really, really bad. And my solution to that was eating a bowl of cereal. And I ate, probably 3 or 4 bowls of cereal as a way to make myself feel better. And I did. My stomach ache went away, and I'm sure there was some, neurological thing going on in my brain too, where the shame or fear of whatever was, it's a cacophony of things going on in my body in that moment for all the different reasons. And that was my solution. And it worked. And I remembered that it worked. And I mean, I have full awareness as an adult today when I am using sugar and food. I mean, it's food, but the reality is, I'm not addicted to lettuce. I'm not addicted to, I'm not just shoving. I'm specifically choosing foods that are rich in calcium. Right. So it's
the
an
sugar
addiction to
groundwork was there.
Yeah.
But the belief, you have the moment of when the belief formed and when the connection was made.
What do you mean by the belief?
That food, that made you feel better.
Yes.
And you also tied it to feeling shameful to something that you've done wrong. So you made yourself bad.
Yes.
And found a way to make it feel better. Even like you're 6.
Right.
There was absolutely nothing that you did wrong in that moment.
Like what that tells me too, looking at it from a different lens, is you're like, I was 6.
Yeah.
And I think that
wasn't your fault. You didn't do anything wrong.
But the fact that I already had food as a coping mechanism, that's not something that I was like, randomly. It was immediate. It was like, I know what's going to fix this feeling in my stomach.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat.
It's like I said, the groundwork was there.
Yeah.
The groundwork was there.
But that was already a coping mechanism for me.
Yes.
That's just the first memory that I have kind of associated with putting it all together.
Yeah, that like the belief part where the belief was formed.
Yeah.
Like you had the coping mechanisms, you had the attachments, you had the path, but then it became a belief at that moment. There was something about that brought it in to be a belief,
Yeah.
Which then, once you know what makes you feel better, once you have that belief, you have this, then that's that pattern. That's that where your go-to. I think, I'm not saying it was like the first moment, but like you had the groundwork, but it's a significant moment to where it becomes, you're like, this is what I do now.
Yes.
This is how, and it turns from a conscious choice to a subconscious reaction when you go in that space. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
It makes total sense because, like I said, I have awareness of thinking those two things. It's like I have a problem. My belly doesn't feel good. And it wasn't, because, at 6, you're 6. So I don't have language a lot of times to express, I'm sure, this process. But looking back, I can kind of understand what was going on, right? And I could tell that my belly like I might not have been able to articulate it. Like I knew that I didn't have an upset stomach because I ate something wrong. My belly didn't feel good because of shame, because of the emotion that I was experiencing. So I knew the distinction between like, oh, I'm sick, my belly doesn't feel good, versus my belly doesn't feel good because of this action and or behavior. So I knew the distinction in my body, and I knew that food would help it.
Yeah.
I knew that that was going to be a thing that would work and that would feel better. And I mean, there's 100% chance that that bowl of cereal had sugar dumped on top of it.
Yeah.
Because that was a very common, I mean, I didn't eat cereal without a bunch of sugar. We had a sugar container that, you know,
It was just for cereal.
It was just for cereal. I mean, it wasn't, right? But that's all that we ever used it for, was pouring sugar. What is that? What's that song? Pour some sugar on it,
Pour some
baby.
sugar on me. Yes, little Def Leppard here. Pour some sugar on me.
What about you? It's a great question.
Yeah.
What about you? Can you think of one? And again, it's a yes or a no, or you don't have to go into it.
Well, I don't have all the details, but I have a very significant point, and I've actually been doing some work on it recently, trying to heal that, trying to like reprogram my brain in a sense.
Yeah.
I was really little. I don't know how old I was, but I know I was little, and I don't have full memory of what had happened. But there was chaos in my house. There was chaos, and I knew that I was supposed to be in bed. I was supposed to be quiet. I was supposed to like no sound whatsoever. I was like, I didn't exist anymore. I needed to be out of the way.
Yeah.
And I essentially got low blood sugar, you know, like, and I'm not hypoglycemic. Sometimes do I have low sugar episodes? Yes. But am I hypoglycemic or any of that? No, I'm not. But you know, that feeling of where you're just like, you feel like shit, you're shaky, you feel like you're going to pass out, and you're just like, oh, and I was so sick, and I was scared. I couldn't ask for help. I couldn't go. I knew that, so whatever was going on was big. So I knew I couldn't go to my parents because I didn't feel good. I knew I couldn't go to my mom because I didn't feel good. It was very much like, I don't know what to do. And they snuck out of my room, and clear at the end of the kitchen, they had this cupboard that I went to. And I can still feel it. It's so old, but at the time it was like that old like desk metal, that flimsy, like kind of like sheet metal. It was like sheet metal thing in this cupboard that was very like, yeah. And so I was like, and it was painted white.
Okay.
And I was trying so hard to be careful when I opened it to not make any sound, because again, it was loud. So I knew I needed to eat something, that's what I was going for. So the framework was already there. The groundwork was already there. That food was going to make me feel better. I just didn't quite have the whole connection to it.
Yeah.
And I was scared. I was very sick, was not like feeling so terrible, but so scared, but knowing I needed something. So it was worth the risk to like sneak out of my room and go to it. And I was trying to grab the quickest thing and the quietest thing, and there was a fruit roll up. And I remember opening the fruit roll up and my hands just like shaking. And I brought it up to eat it, and I could smell it. And I just held it on my face and breathed it in, and knew, like, my body was like, I'm like, oh, this is going to make me feel better.
Wow.
Like, I knew by the scent that it was going to make me feel better.
That red dye 40 strong.
Right? I think it was just because I knew I needed the sugar, and I could smell the sugar. And I just like inhaled it. And it did. It made me feel better. I snuck back to my room and I felt better. So not only was it like eating in private, eating shamefully, being afraid, being isolated.
Right, so much secretive.
So much all of that. And then like, it's up to me to make me feel better. And then it was sugar on top of it, sugar. And it definitely made me feel better. And so I've been trying to really work on, I eat when I'm afraid, I eat when I'm scared, I eat when I'm sad.
That's what I was curious about, like where I can associate shame with my emotion that I was trying to satiate. What would be the one, that kind of stands out from your memory, if there were one? And it doesn't have to be, but
Fear, overwhelm, not knowing what to do.
Just being afraid.
Overwhelm.
sugar was going to fix that.
And it did.
Hey,
right?
You know,
for roll up for the win.
As far as coping mechanisms go,
we were meant to be.